Hi there, it's Natasha, and today I am just going to go over some of my most used inks in my craft room. This is not really to promote anything in particular. I am not going to put links down below. I'll just give you the names of the items, and you're welcome to Google them, search them. There are heaps of places that sell every one of these bits and pieces. This is really just to let you know what I use in my craft room and what I have loved. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, first up has to be the Distress inks. This is actually my whole collection of Distress inks. I have just got a couple of containers. This is what sees me through pretty much everything that I need. And as per usual, I just store the little foam blending tools on the underside. And these are the Tim Holtz tins that are made for these little Distress inks. As I said, I don't have the whole collection. There is a massive collection of these inks. I just have a couple of each colour, and that seems to get me through pretty much for everything I need. So these ones, there are lots and lots of videos that you can see demonstrations. This isn't really a demonstration video, just sort of letting you know what I love in my craft room. Next up is speaking of distress, is the Distress oxides. I must admit that in the beginning I was pretty set on not getting the oxides. I felt like it was just another ink that I would add to my collection that I didn't really need. I pretty much have changed my mind. I do, however, I did get a few and I tried them out and I love them. They are a mix between a pigment and a dye ink. They blend beautifully on the paper, which is something that I always had trouble with the regular Distress inks. They do have a slightly chalky finish when you're done with them. I think they've released them in 24 colours at the moment. As with the smaller Distress inks, I certainly do not need one of every colour, and luckily I don't feel the need that I have to have the whole collection of anything, because I'm on a really tight budget, and so I have just got about 10 inks of the Distress oxides that give me a couple in every colour that I'm able to create with, so I do love them. Okay, next up are some things that I use the most. These are my most common inks that you will see me use in pretty much every single video. This is the Versafine Onyx black ink. This one has, the lid is attached to it, and this is a pigment ink, and I stamp all my sentiments. It stamps beautifully, crisp, clear, and best of all, really dark, really black, and that's really important to me in my card making. So I do love my Versafine. The other one that I use, and I'm so sorry that this is so manky and so gross, but I use it all the time, and I've had it for a really long time, and I just keep re-inking it. This is a Watermark Resist. This one is the Ink Essentials one. I actually just purchased the new Ranger one, the Watermark Resist one. Again, there are lots of different types. The Versafine embossing pad is really a popular one that you might see, and that's in like a black container. They all essentially do the same thing. Again, I don't need the best of the best, I just need what works for me. So this is really good for embossing powder and doing the Watermark Resist technique, which is works really well with a tone-on-tone technique. So those are my I use those every single video, every single card that I make. These are my go-tos. I do really love the Umbrella Crafts Soft Silver. This is a great silver. It is shiny, it is sparkly, it kind of does everything that I like in a silver ink. You can see that I was just using it in a previous video. And I have the re-inker to it, and it's lasted me forever. I have quite a few of the other Umbrella Crafts inks, and I like them all. I do really like the Umbrella Crafts inks, but in particular I think that their silver is great. Scrapbook.com often have sales on Umbrella Crafts inks, 40% off, so they become much more affordable. I also like the gold one of these as well. Next up, I have these Catherine Pooler inks. I only have 6, and shipping to New Zealand is really expensive from her shop, and so that I don't order from there very much. These ones are good. The great thing about these inks, they are on a spongy type pad, and they're very wet, juicy ink pads. The great thing about these ones is that you can move from colour to colour, say from green to yellow, and not have any contamination of colour without having to scrub your inks, and that was what attracted to me in the first place, and it actually is true. You can go from one colour to the next and you do not get any contamination in your colours, which I find really hard with pretty much all of my other inks. Okay, so that's why I like those ones. Next up, just a couple more. I have the set of, I think I pretty much have most of the Ranger dye ink pads. These ones are a nice bright ink pad, and I do really enjoy using these. I mean, they're just lovely, nice bright colours, well used, and nice and juicy ink pads. I really like the colours too, nice and bright. Last but not least, I have these Ombre Ink Pads from AliExpress. I do have a video on my channel showing how these stamp and how they work. They are a bit smaller than a standard sized ink pad, so don't be surprised by that. I have tried quite a few ombre ink pads of branded varieties, and to be honest, these are what work best for me. So okay, thank you so much for joining me today. As I said, I won't put links to these things below. Really, they're just to show you what I have in my stash that I love using in my craft room. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, bye.